Welcome to Trusted Transitions. I'm Mike Schuch, a local real estate expert and realtor with Homestead Realty. If you're a first-time listener, Trusted Transitions is a 1-hour program created to help older adults navigate their home transition journeys. With that said, anyone planning to make a move in the next 12 months can certainly benefit from this program and will hopefully find it to be beneficial. Our guests include experts in downsizing, decluttering, packing, moving, senior living, new home construction, home improvement, lending, and more. I hope you find Trusted Transitions to be informative. Past episodes can be found on the Trusted Transitions website and multiple podcast platforms. You can find me online at homefinderwisconsin.com. That's homefinderwisconsin.com. I serve all of southeastern Wisconsin. If you're planning to make a move in the next 12 months and would like some suggestions on preparing your home for sale, you can reach me at 262-366-4600. I'll also bring along a complimentary home value report so you'll know how much your home will likely sell for in today's market. These services are completely free. My number again, 262-366-4600 or online at Home Finder, Wisconsin. This week, we'll hear from Jane Goessl, Marketing Director at Tudor Oaks Senior Living in Muskego. Also, Melinda Stuart, local owner of Smart Moves, Wyatt Nelson with Monster Paint, and I'll wrap the program up a little bit later in the hour with some tips on preparing your home for sale. And next in the studio, we have Jane Goessl with Tudor Oaks in Muskego. Good morning, Jane.
Good morning, and thank you again for joining us. I am Jane Goessl, Marketing Director at Tudor Oaks Senior Living. We are located on McShane Drive in Muskego. We are a nonprofit, faith-based senior living community which offers the full continuum of care, which includes independent living, assisted living, memory and enhanced care, and skilled nursing and rehab all under the same roof. And what that means is you can truly receive the care you need as you age without having to move to another community. To reach out to us for more information, please call 414-529-0100 or visit us online at www.tudoroaks.net. So today we're going to be talking about something really special, the history of Tudor Oaks Senior Living and how it has become such an important part in the lives of older adults and families in our area.
And I think what makes this such a meaningful topic is that Tudor Oaks is more than just a senior living community. It's a place with history, purpose, and a lot of heart. When you look at Tudor Oaks today, you see a beautiful campus with a full range of services, and behind all of that is a much bigger story.
Exactly. And when we say history, we're not talking about dates and buildings. We're talking about how Tudor Oaks grew into a community that it is today, and how it's supported older adults through so many different seasons of life.
Tudor Oaks has been serving seniors for more than 40 years, which is pretty incredible when you think about it. That means for decades, families have trusted Tudor Oaks as a place where their loved ones could find not only care, but also comfort, connection, and a real sense of home.
And that's really where the story begins, with the idea of creating a place where older adults could live with dignity and independence while also having the support if and when they needed it.
I think that's such an important part of the story because moving to a senior living community is rarely just about finding a place to live. It's often about peace of mind, about knowing that support is there, about finding community. And for many people, it's about starting a new chapter in life with confidence instead of fear.
Exactly right. And Tudor Oaks was created with that kind of vision in mind, not simply to provide housing, but to create a community where people could truly live well as they aged.
Another really important part of Tudor Oaks history is that it's part of something much bigger. Tudor Oaks is owned and operated by American Baptist Home of the Midwest, a nonprofit organization that has been serving older adults since 1930.
And I think that says a lot about the values behind the community. Tudor Oaks didn't grow out of a business model alone. It grew out of a mission centered on service, compassion, and caring for older adults in a way that supports not just their physical needs, but their emotional and spiritual needs, well-being as well.
Yes. And you can feel that difference. Communities with a strong mission often have a different atmosphere. There's a deep sense of purpose. It's not just about care plans and services. It's about relationships, respect, and making sure people feel valued.
And that mission has really helped shape Tudor Oaks over the years. Even as the campus has changed and expanded, the heart behind it stayed the same.
Like many senior living communities, Tudor Oaks has evolved over time. It may have started with a focus on retirement and independent living, but today it offers a full continuum of care: independent living, assisted living, memory care, rehabilitation, and skilled nursing.
And that kind of growth really reflects how senior living itself has changed. Years ago, people often thought of senior living as one thing, just a place you moved to when you couldn't live at home anymore. But communities like Tudor Oaks have helped redefine that.
Exactly. Today, senior living can be about lifestyle, wellness, friendships, convenience, and planning ahead, not just care. And Tudor Oaks has grown alongside those changing expectations.
I think one of the most meaningful parts of that idea is that residents can stay in one familiar place, one familiar community, even after their needs change. The continuity matters so much. It means people can build relationships, settle in, and feel at home, knowing that they don't necessarily have to move over and start over somewhere else.
And for families, that brings such a sense of reassurance, too. There's comfort in knowing that a parent or loved one can receive much more support over time without leaving the place they've come to know and trust.
Of course, every community changes over the years physically, too. Buildings get updated, apartments are refreshed, amenities are added, and spaces are redesigned to fit what residents want and they need today.
But honestly, when I think about the history of Tudor Oaks, I don't think the most important part is the buildings. I think it's the people.
I agree.
It's the residents who have made Tudor Oaks home over the last 40 plus years. It's the friendships that were formed there. It's the couples and individuals who arrived wondering what this next chapter would be like and then found belonging, routine, and joy in unexpected ways.
And it's families, too. The adult children who were trying to make the best decision they could for their parents. The relief they felt when they realized their loved one was safe, supported, and surrounded by people who truly care.
And of course, it's the staff members, people who have spent years walking alongside residents through everyday moments, celebrations, transitions, and challenges. That's part of the history, too. The story of Tudor Oaks is really a story of relationships.
When you look at the bigger picture, Tudor Oaks represents something really meaningful. It represents the belief that aging should still be full of dignity, purpose, and connections.
Yes, it's a reminder that senior living isn't just about where someone lives, it's about how they live. It's about whether they feel known, whether they feel supported, whether they still have opportunities to enjoy life, build friendships, and be part of a community.
And over the years, Tudor Oaks has continued to adapt to the needs of older adults while staying rooted in those core values. That's what makes its history so important. It's not just the story of a place that lasted a long time. It's a story of a place that has continued to care well for people through changing times.
So when we talk about the history of Tudor Oaks senior living community, we're really talking about more than a timeline. We're talking about a community that has spent more than 40 years serving older adults with compassion, support, and a sense of home.
I agree. And it's a story of growth, care, and connection. And it's a story that is still being written every day by residents, families, and staff who make Tudor Oaks what it is. So thank you again for joining us. And if you would like more information about Tudor Oaks or to schedule a tour, please call us at 414-529-0100, or you can reach us on the website at www.tudoroaks.net. Have a great week, everyone.
Thanks so much, Jane. Up next, we have Melinda Stuart with Smart Moves. We'll be back in just a minute with more Trusted Transitions. And welcome back to Trusted Transitions. This is Mike Schuch, your trusted host, and back in the studio with us, we have Melinda Stuart, the local owner of Smart Moves, Wisconsin's premier moving, organizing, and downsizing experts. Hello, Melinda.
Hello, good to see you.
Yeah, we had a little hiatus there for a couple weeks, and now we're on our new time here, Saturday at 3 o'clock. So we hope our friends and listeners were able to find us here today. And so we thought we would kind of go back to the basics a little bit today, since we're in a new time period now with the show. And we thought we'd talk about something, everybody dreads, but almost everybody eventually really has to do, and that is move, right? The whole moving experience.
Right.
So,
In
right.
fact,
So
I
whether you're
just
really heading across town or across the state, right? We find that moving can be stressful. And this time of the year, it's hot. So we thought we'd break it down and talk with Melinda about what a move manager actually does, and then how to move safely and smartly when the temperature starts to climb. So Melinda, the basics. A move manager, really more like a project manager, right?
right. Yeah. Sometimes people think we're a moving company, but really it is more about the project management, pulling all the details together. We start with a basic game plan that puts the timeline together, really helps people know what to do from now until move days here. We spend a lot of time working with our moving partners. We vet them, we test them out, we do trainings with them. So we're really familiar with how they work and they understand our core values and the importance of bringing compassion to the process. And then all those logistics, sometimes things you're not even thinking about. Is the moving truck going to need special parking arrangements? Are we going to need to reserve an elevator? Sometimes there's details that are more complicated these days of arranging donation pickup, and we're
Mhm.
there to handle all those pieces. And then our normal package includes putting together that floor plan, room by room plan. So on move day, everyone knows which room the boxes go in and where the furniture needs to go. And then, of course, our amazing team of specialists are there to do all that physical part of packing those boxes, getting them moved, and then setting up your new space. So we love to do it.
Right, right. And you guys do out-of-state moves too, right?
Yes, for sure. We're part of a network of move managers across the country and across the world. So we've got friends everywhere who do the same kind of work in other locations, and we can take care of the Wisconsin part, the Southeast Wisconsin area, and then match you with the move manager on that end to make the whole process seamless.
Let's talk about the timeline next. Something that surprises a lot of people that is that if you move on your own, the packing, planning, hauling, unpacking, that whole process can realistically take like 1 to 5 weeks, we see typically, especially if you're doing it around a full-time job. Or if there's a lot of downsizing, in decision making that's involved. And if you compare that to working with someone like you, or, professional move management company, most full service moves like this are completed, in like 1 or 2 days, right?
Exactly. Yep. Most of our moves are 2-day moves, unless they're studio or one bedroom. We can do those in one day. And so it really is a nice way to minimize the disruption to your life. We can get it done efficiently, quickly, and it's turnkey. So when you get there, the new space is ready to live in and really enjoy.
Right. That's really the difference between a stressful month and a stressful day or two, maybe, right? And
Exactly.
especially I think about the weather we've been having lately, these 90+ degree days outside. I mean, fewer days spent moving boxes in the heat is not a small perk, right? That's bonus.
Exactly. Exactly.
Right, right. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about moving in the heat. Summer is peak moving season, as we all know, but it's also can be the most physically demanding. So maybe take us through some practical talking points and things we should think about with summer moving.
Yeah, I would say a big thing is just to be really planning ahead. Sometimes in a less peak season, you can call us a week before and we can get that move scheduled. Of course, we always say sooner is better. But in summer, you almost have to be thinking at least a month ahead to make sure you can get the dates you're looking at and have your move manager team as well as the movers available to be able to get your project done. Another thing is
it is hot. We've had some air quality issues here recently. That's gonna, the movers are working hard no matter what time of year it is, but with that extra heat, just keep in mind, they're gonna appreciate some extra water breaks, some electrolytes, so making sure they're staying safe, and just be aware of that. Sometimes people are kind of watching the process and the clock and don't want any breaks, but it's really critical to make sure we're taking care of ourselves during the move by staying hydrated and safe, and then making sure those movers are doing the same thing. And then another point is just to really think about what's actually going on the moving truck. Most moving companies, if you call them, give you a whole list of things that can't go on the truck. In our case, we've been able to make some exceptions to that because they know how we pack things and handle things. And so things that sometimes can't go on the truck, we can usually put on the truck. But with the heat, there are some things to really be thinking about. Electronic, the inside of a moving truck when it's sitting in the sun can get well over 130 degrees. So we don't want those electronics on there that might really goof up the system. Anything that can melt, even think about records are back in style, LP records. So that's not a good thing to put on the truck. Candles, and then food. Our team always brings coolers to move your food. And even on a regular move, we tend to move that in our smart move vehicles versus putting it on the truck because we want to make sure it's the first thing unloaded. But especially if you're doing it yourself, think about making that a priority and making sure it doesn't go on the truck. And even your medications. The medication's really sensitive to heat. So it's just a little different way of thinking about things that doesn't apply necessarily when it's cooler out.
Well, you remind me when you talk about, you mentioned the vinyl albums. I just had a flashback to the 80s. I remember I was going to a Brewer game as a young man. I don't know, I was probably maybe 15, 16, and a friend of mine gave me a gift. It was an album. It was Cheap Trick, Live in Budokan. I still remember this, and I put it in the back window of the car when we went into the Brewer game. We came out, and it looked like a roller coaster with the the waves up and down on the vinyl. I think I cried. I was like, oh my gosh, I wanted to hear that album when I got home. So yes, I can visualize how heat can certainly damage items. And yeah, I don't know what made me think of that, but I did go back to the record store in Menominee Falls at the time. I think it was Total Eclipse Records, and I think my parents treated me to another version of that same album. So there is a good ending to that story. But the rule of thumb is, yes, we some of this stuff should not go on the truck, right? We really got to think through this.
Yeah.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah, and even thinking about yourself, we always at Smart Moves recommend that people pack kind of an essentials bag during move day with your important paperwork, any valuables you want to keep with you, your cell phone, a charger, things like that. But in these hot times, we want to also be thinking about an extra water bottle, maybe even an extra outfit to change into if you get really warm or sweaty if you have something to change. Just really thinking about those things that are going to keep us comfortable and relaxed on these super hot days. And then, with that too, think about getting to the new place ahead of time and maybe turning on the air conditioning once that furniture starts moving in and out. It gets real hot in there. Right. So the more we can kind of pre-cool off the area, that's going to help your whole moving crew that day.
And you know what? Those little battery-powered fans, I was using one the other day. One of my grandkids had one. They really work well. I thought they were just for show, but boy, they really do cool you off. It's surprising. So I'm now advocating for battery-powered fans.
We like those, and we like those cooling towels too, that we can just kind of get them wet and they put them around your neck. Really cools you down.
Right. So to kind of wrap it up and summarize, a move manager isn't really just a luxury. They're the person that's turning weeks of chaos into a couple of well-organized days. Melinda, it was awesome to have you on again, and we look forward to having you on again on our next episode.
Awesome. Stay cool out there.
We'll be back with more Trusted Transitions in just a minute. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Trusted Transitions. This is Mike Schuch, your host, and in the studio with me, I have Wyatt Watson with Monster Painting. Good morning, Wyatt. How are you?
I'm doing good. How's it going?
It's doing great since you guys just finished a project for me and one of my clients who is listing his home very soon in Franklin. He called me yesterday and he was just very, very happy at the work that you did, and he sent me some pictures. So thank you and your crew so much for helping my client. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. That's what we do.
Yeah, you guys do a great job. Now, listeners, if you listened a few weeks ago, we had Wyatt on, and I wanted to invite him back on because we didn't get to really everything I wanted to ask him. But in the space that we're in with getting homes ready to, in the real estate space, getting homes ready to sell, a trusted painting company is like a must-have in your quiver of tools to help your clients. So I'm giving away my trade secret here, and that is Monster Painting out of Waukesha. Victor and Wyatt, they're awesome. They have a number of crews. They're large scale, and they do it affordably. They do it very, very well. So, Wyatt, I wanted to, I guess, kind of just start off to ask you a few just kind of general questions about, getting the home ready, beyond the front door for curb appeal. What interior spaces completely kind of change a buyer's psychological first impression on the home in your experience?
Okay. Well, obviously, the entryway, the foyer is a big one. I mean, that's where everybody walks in. That's where you meet guests. So you definitely want that to look nice. And apart from that, probably the kitchen, because potential home buyers really pour through a kitchen.
Right. What are the common painting projects that sellers seem to maybe waste money on? Are there even any that you would consider maybe if they had a limited budget not to focus on those areas that buyers don't care about as much? If you're going to help give some inside advice to a limited budget client on painting?
Well, I mean, yeah, you could probably skip closets.
Sure.
The garage, you really don't need to paint the garage. If you're on a tighter budget, I would suggest maybe just making sure that the actual bedrooms are clean.
Mm-hmm.
Most people, when they move into a new house, like to make their bedrooms their own. So they usually end up getting it repainted anyway.
I agree. Let's talk about the kitchen. The cabinets specifically, kitchen remodels are very expensive. Can a professional cabinet paint job deliver the same market value, in your opinion, at a fraction of the cost of replacing cabinets?
Yes. I mean, it depends on the condition of the cabinets, but if they're newer cabinets, painting them really helps.
Right.
It's very popular. We do a lot of cabinet painting.
I bet. We just had ours done. Well, I shouldn't say we just had ours done. This is how time goes as you age, right? I think we had ours done 10 years ago. Not just, but they still look great from the paint job, and it certainly updated the feel of the kitchen, and we're still loving it. Is white still kind of the go-to on cabinets that you're seeing? Is that the most popular color?
For the most part.
Yeah.
Yes. Whites, different whites.
So what about the sterile kind of flipper white that home flipper white that we've seen for so many years? Are we still seeing that being requested most? Are we seeing more color coming in now, or?
Well, yes. And I understand you're putting your house up on the market. Some people just say, okay, we'll paint everything white.
Right.
That can become a little too sterile, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
My suggestion, you can still use the whites, the off-whites, the light grays, but kind of break it up a little bit. Don't just paint everything the same color. Use like 2, maybe 3 colors tops.
And maybe have an accent wall in a room
Absolutely.
too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what about when it comes to front doors, and exterior trim? Are you seeing any color combinations that are kind of hot right now that are driving more foot traffic in for sellers?
Yeah, I mean, the trend right now is definitely going towards darker colors.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing a lot of dark grays paired with like cream trim.
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing gray trim with almost black, like an iron ore on the siding.
Yep.
For front doors, that's where you can have a little bit of fun. Having a front door that's painted, like if you have a gray house, like a bright blue or a
Right.
navy blue front door, just to give it that accent and that pop that people
Right.
like to see.
Right. We've talked about that on previous episodes, that curb appeal, the first thing home buyers see when they pull up to the front of your house, right, are your doors, your front door and your garage door. And both those doors, I mean, they take up a lot of real estate on the front of a house. You want those to look new. You want them to look fresh. It doesn't mean you have to buy a new garage door, but put a fresh coat of paint on that, right? And in your front door, hit that right away with a fresh coat of paint and have that generate that awesome first impression. It can really help you get folks to the offer table. Let's talk about prep work and prep work secrets, maybe. In my line of work, when I go in and do listing appointments, I never know what I'm going to get into when I first walk into a home. But oftentimes there are some odors, right, in the homes, and it could be from a smoker, right? I mean, while most of us hopefully aren't smoking anymore, we know that's bad for you. There still are smokers out there, and I still see it. So, are you finding that paint? Are there products that do a good job to seal that trap that smell in and eliminate it?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, just before you paint, you want to get a good odor blocking primer on there. Like
Okay.
Kills makes some good products. That's one we like to use. But any odor blocking primer, get a good coat of that on first before you put your paint on, and that should take care of any smells.
Right. That's that's really good. And I haven't even I've done some homes, or I'm glad we're talking, because I haven't really thought about that specialty primer. I mean, I usually just have been telling my clients, just paint and cover it up. But putting a specialty primer on there is going to make a difference.
Absolutely, yes. Sometimes even putting a coat of regular primer and 2 coats of paint will not get rid of the smell.
Mm-hmm.
So you need a good odor blocking primer.
And then I tell my clients also, you can rent ozonators from, Home Depot and from, I believe Menards has them too. And that'll help in addition to the recommendations that Wyatt's making to get
Absolutely.
that smell out.
And getting your ducts clean too.
Right.
Help with the odor.
For sure. That's a big one. Talk to me a little bit about texture. Are you still seeing these, some of these outdated textured walls, or the popcorn ceilings? And does your team actually smooth those out? Is that a service you offer?
Yes. You don't see it as much now. A lot of the houses have been updated away from that popcorn. We still do see it from time to time. That's the one texture that we would say for sure get rid of. The
Right.
popcorn texture. Nobody wants to see that.
Exactly.
But some people, they don't like the sand texture. They want us to sand that smooth or skim coat their walls to get a nice smooth finish.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, you got your regular knockdowns that people like.
Right. So, Wyatt, how far in advance right now should folks be planning to get their painting project done? If they wanted to use Monster and they gave you a call, how far out should they be planning for this?
Okay, well, some of that depends on if they're going to be doing other home improvements, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't want, if you have mulch around the base of your house,
Mm-hmm.
you would want us to come paint first, then have the new mulch put in.
Ah.
So it depends, but if they're doing just painting, you would want to finish the paint job a couple of weeks, ideally, before the house goes on the market, just to have time to do any touch-ups. As you're staging the house, you could bump or nick the paint job. You want to make sure that everything is dialed in before it goes on the market.
Right. Those are all excellent points and tips, Wyatt. If listeners wanted to give you guys a call to get a free estimate, what number would they reach you at?
We can be reached at 262-408-1100.
Okay. And of course, your website, which is?
monsterpaintingwi.com.
Okay. Don't forget to put the WI in there, guys. monsterpaintingwi.com. And I've personally used these guys on many occasions, and I've been referring them, and just good news after good news, and happy clients after happy clients. So be sure to give Wyatt and or Victor a call over at Monster Painting. So thanks so much for being on, Wyatt. These segments go pretty quick, but it's always good to have you on the show, and I think we've probably helped some more listeners get their homes ready to sell. So thanks so much.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Okay. Hey, we'll be back with more Trusted Transitions in just a minute. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Trusted Transitions. I'm Mike Schuch, your go-to local real estate resource. You can always find me on my website, homefinderwisconsin.com. In today's final segment, I want to cover 5 absolute must-do updates you should never neglect when preparing your home for sale, and 5 repairs or updates that you can safely pass along to the next buyer without hurting your bottom line. I know selling a house can feel overwhelming, right? You look around and think, do I need to fix that crack? Should I remodel the kitchen? Will buyers run away if I don't replace the carpet? Today, I want to cut through the noise, so grab a notebook and we're going to dive right in here. So let's start with the must-dos. These are the items that, if ignored, will either kill your deal during the inspection period and cause your home to sit on the market for a long time, or force you to slash your asking price far more than the cost of the actual fix. So the first is first impressions, deep cleaning, and serious decluttering. It sounds basic, but you'd be shocked at how many sellers skip this. Buyers decide how they feel about a house within the first 10 seconds of walking through the front door. If they smell pet odors, see dusty baseboards, or trip over your shoes, they immediately assume the home hasn't been maintained. So the fix is you need to rent a storage unit and move at least 50% of your belongings out. Then hire a professional deep cleaning crew to make every surface shine. This really does matter. Cleanliness signals to a buyer that the home has been loved and cared for. Okay, number 2 is curb appeal, the front door and yard. Before buyers even make it inside, they're judging the exterior. Overgrown bushes, dead grass, and a peeling front door tell buyers that a property is a project. The fix is to mow the lawn, lay down fresh mulch, plant a few colorful flowers, and give your front door a fresh coat of paint with a new handle. Why it matters? Good curb appeal gets buyers excited before they even twist the doorknob. Number 3 is light and neutral paint. Personalized paint colors like a dark red dining room or a bright blue kids room are buyer deterrents. Most buyers lack the imagination to see past your decor. Dark colors also make rooms look smaller. The fix? Paint your main living areas in a modern, light neutral tone like an off-white, light gray, or warm beige. Why it matters? Neutral paint bounces light around, making space feel larger, cleaner, and ready for the buyer to move their own furniture right in. Number 4, the big 3 functionals: roof, your HVAC, and plumbing leaks. You cannot hide deferred maintenance on major systems. If your roof is actively leaking, your HVAC is 25 years old and blowing lukewarm air, or you have a visible water stain under the kitchen sink, it will come up in the inspection. The fix is you need to fix active leaks and service your HVAC before listing. If the roof is at the end of its life, you should really be prepared to replace it or offer a credit. And then number 5 is lighting and dead bulbs. A dark home is a sad home. If a buyer walks into a room and feels gloomy or half the bulbs are burned out, it creates a negative psychological response. The fix is to replace every single burned out bulb in your house, switch old yellow incandescent bulbs out for bright, warm white LEDs, open all the blinds and curtains before a showing. Why does it matter? Bright homes feel happier, newer, and much more inviting. Now, we want to address the things that can wait, that we can leave them for things we can leave for the buyer. All right. So let's talk about how to save your money and your sanity. Sellers often waste thousands of dollars on renovations thinking they'll get 100% return on their investment. But the reality is you rarely do. Here are 5 things you can leave completely alone. Number 1 is a full kitchen and bathroom remodel. Don't gut your kitchen and bathroom right before you sell. Major renovations are highly subjective. You might spend $30,000 on a brand new quartz countertop and custom cabinets, only for the buyer to walk in and say, I don't like this style, I'm going to rip it out. So instead, if things look dated, just do minor cosmetic touch-ups, like updating the cabinet's hardware or adding a fresh coat of paint. Leave the heavy lifting to the new owner. Number 2, brand new flooring throughout. Unless your carpet is completely shredded or smells like a farm, don't replace all your flooring. Flooring is incredibly personal. If you install gray laminate flooring, your buyer might have their heart set on traditional hardwood. Instead, have your carpets professionally steam cleaned to remove the stains and odors. If they're in terrible shape, offer a flooring credit to the buyer at closing so they can pick out exactly what they want. Number 3, fencing and extensive landscaping. While curb appeal matters, you don't need to invest in elaborate backyard landscaping or a brand new privacy fence. Buyers rarely pay extra for a manicured garden oasis, and fences are expensive structural additions that won't necessarily boost your appraised value. Instead, just keep your yard cut, weeded, and tidy. Let the buyer figure out if they want a garden or a dog run later. Number 4, minor cosmetic imperfections. I'm talking about things like tiny hairline cracks in the driveway, a slightly squeaky closet door, or a small scratch on a baseboard. Houses settle and normal wear and tear is expected. Instead, don't stress over the tiny stuff an inspector might note on a report, but no reasonable buyer is going to walk away from a house because a bedroom closet door sticks a little bit. Number 5, old but fully functional appliances. If your refrigerator, washer, or dryer are 10 years old but still work perfectly fine, don't run out to the appliance store and buy brand new stainless steel replacements. You're not going to get your money back in the sale price. Instead, clean them until they shine inside and out. If a buyer complains that they're old, you can always offer a 1-year home warranty policy, which costs around $500 to give them peace of mind, instead of spending thousands on new appliances. So there you have it, folks. Focus your time, money, and energy on making the home clean, bright, neutral, and structurally sound. Stop stressing over major design overhauls and minor cosmetic flaws. Sell the home's potential, maintain its core systems, and let the new buyers put their own stamp on it. If you're thinking about listing your home soon and want a personalized walkthrough to know exactly what your specific house needs and doesn't need, reach out to me. You can find all my contact info in the notes section, or you can call me at 262-366-4600. Also, you can find all my contact information on my website, homefinderwisconsin.com. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, leave a review if this was helpful, and share this episode with a friend who is getting ready to move. Until next time, this is Mike Schuch, your local go-to real estate resource with Homestead Realty. Happy selling.